Good afternoon. I'm Spot On Weather Meteorologist Matthew Euler. In this latest video, I am going to show you the longer range model outlooks for the upcoming winter season. My main focus will be on the meteorological winter months of December, January, and February. So let's get right into it. All right, let's start off with a look at the CANSIPS model. This is the CANSIPS model, December 500 millibar height anomaly forecast. Now, this model was just recently issued on the 1st of November, 2025. Blue colors here at 500 millibar indicate troughing, and that is associated with colder temperatures and more unsettled conditions, whereas the peach colors, the salmons, the reds, indicate upper level ridging, and that's associated with drier and milder conditions. So for December of 2025, this is the CANSIPS 500 millibar geopotential height and anomaly forecast, and we see really what it's showing is a pretty significant upper level ridge across the northeastern Pacific up to the Gulf of Alaska, with ridging extending through Alaska and even north of Alaska. With troughing downstream, we have a upper level low and troughing from southern Hudson Bay down through the northern Great Lakes states. We also see a signature of a negative North Atlantic oscillation with above normal heights across the North Atlantic just to the east of Greenland. Looking at the CANSIPS January 500 millibar height anomaly forecast, all right, we're still seeing a very strong upper level ridge, positioned generally south of the central Aleutian Islands and extending northward up into the southern and central Bering Sea. Downstream from this anomalous upper level ridge, we do see downstream troughing into parts of western and central Canada, down into the northern United States. And we've lost a little bit of the negative North Atlantic oscillation, that negative NAO signature, the ridging across the North Atlantic. It looks more zonal west to east with the jet stream, according to this model forecast for January. Looking at the CANSIPS 500 millibar geopotential height and anomaly forecast now for February of 2026, we still see that persistent upper level ridging in the same general location, the purples and this deeper maroon color, generally across the northeastern and north central Pacific Ocean. And then we do see some more of the upper level closed lower upper level low there, closed low, over the Arctic area with troughing extending across eastern and southeastern Canada. We do see some upper level ridging from Texas above normal heights towards Alabama and towards the southeastern U.S. Looking at the CANSIPS 2-meter temperature anomalies in degrees Celsius forecast for December of 2025. Blue color indicates below normal temperatures on the forecast. Anything with the oranges and these lighter pinks and these reddish tinged colors and oranges, they generally indicate above normal temperatures. So the CANSIPS December forecast shows below normal temperatures, generally from western and central Canada down through the upper Midwest into Wisconsin, Michigan, Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, Pennsylvania. And some of these colder air outbreaks will extend into the mid-Atlantic, according to this model for December. We do have warmer than normal temperatures into Mexico and parts of Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and Southern California, and well above normal temperatures are forecast for the state of Alaska, and even further to the north across the Arctic Ocean there for December. The CANSIPS January temperature anomaly outlook showing white color across the northeastern Pacific. That's near normal temperatures. But look at the blue coloring here across the northern plains, the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, into parts of Indiana and Ohio. We have above normal air temperatures across Arizona and New Mexico into parts of southern Texas. Some milder air also across the deep south, across Alabama, Georgia, into Florida for the month of January. Well above normal readings continue across the Arctic areas north of North America. Here's the CANSIPS February temperature anomaly outlook, showing near normal temperatures in the white coloring across the northeastern Pacific. We now see slightly below normal temperatures just off the western coast of Alaska into the eastern Bering Sea. Below normal temperature readings across south central Canada in the northern plains. And we see milder conditions from California through New Mexico and Arizona to Texas, right on over to Georgia and South Carolina for the month of February. Some slightly above normal readings into Virginia, Kentucky, southern Illinois, and northern Missouri. We still see the signature of well above normal temperatures across the Arctic region, north and North America. Looking at the CANSIPS December precipitation anomalies outlook, yellow and oranges generally indicate drier than normal conditions, and you can see well below normal precip off the U.S. West Coast in association with that strong upper level ridging. Below normal precip is forecast for California, Oregon, Washington State. We also see below normal precipitation from the Gulf Coast states, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, working our way northward into the Carolinas and Virginia. White coloring indicates near average precip across Minnesota, Iowa, the Dakotas, Nebraska, as well as Montana, Wyoming, into Colorado. Looking at the CANSIPS January precipitation anomalies forecast, still well below normal precip in the yellow and colors there across the northeastern Pacific and off the west coast. Drier than normal conditions for California, as well as drier than normal conditions across Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, Florida, up to the Carolinas. Near average precipitation across Montana, Wyoming, the Dakotas, Minnesota, into Wisconsin, and near average precip across Maine, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, as well as New York State. Looking at the CANSIPS February precipitation anomalies forecast, dry conditions continue across the northeastern Pacific, right off the U.S. West Coast into California, Nevada, parts of Arizona, and Utah, looking drier than normal for February, looking drier than normal from eastern Texas to Virginia as well. And this is typically what you'd see with a La Nina type pattern. The problem is La Nina will no longer be in place in February 2026. So it's interesting to see what this model is projecting as far as this drier signature from Texas to Virginia, near average precip across the northern U.S. up towards New England. Looking at the European weeklies now, this was just issued yesterday, the 6th of November, 2025. So these are the European weeklies. Instead of looking at a monthly outlook, we'll take a look at the weekly outlook. We'll start with the 500 millibar height anomalies here on the left and the right. On the left-hand side, this is the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast for this Sunday. Excuse me, not this Sunday, a week from Sunday. So this would be 16 November, 500 millibar height anomalies according to the latest European weeklies. Blue and greens indicate troughing, unsettled weather, cooler temps. Oranges indicate above normal heights, upper level ridging, milder and drier conditions. So we see what's going on here. 16 November, we have a strong upper level ridge building into the Bering Sea. We have a trough generally positioned off the U.S. West Coast. By 16 November, we have more orange colors across the western U.S., indicating upper level ridging. And then we see this green and blue color from New England down to the mid-Atlantic, indicating troughing conditions remaining persistent, specifically with this closed upper low across southeastern Canada. We do see more of a negative North Atlantic oscillation signature on 16 November with well above normal heights from Greenland all the way up north of North America into the Arctic area. On the right-hand side, we see the 500 millibar height anomaly forecast now for 24 November here on the right. We still see upper-level ridging across the northeastern Pacific, with the ridging extending in towards parts of Alaska. Beneath the upper-level ridging in the Pacific, we see troughing from California just off the southeastern portion of the North Pacific. This looks to me like it's setting up to be more of a negative EPO type pattern with positive height anomalies over negative or lower height anomalies across the eastern Pacific. We do see upper level ridging signature across the mid-Atlantic and generally across the eastern U.S. as a whole on 24 November. According to the latest European weeklies forecast here for 24th of November, we see troughing generally located across the North Atlantic. We still see above normal heights, though, forecasted, with the higher than normal height anomalies in the Baffin Bay towards the northeastern sections there of Canada. And then continuing on, the forecast 500 millibar height anomalies according to the European weeklies on the left, showing troughing across areas of Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico, This is for 1 December here on the left, the forecast height anomalies. Slightly above normal height anomalies in the light yellows across the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic to the Gulf Coast, and well below normal height anomalies across the North Atlantic. Now, notice the orange coloring across Alaska, west of the Bering Sea, and north of Alaska towards the Arctic. And also Greenland. See all these lighter orange colors from Greenland across the Arctic to Alaska into the Bering Sea? This is an association with above normal heights. And anytime you get above normal heights up in these locations, these far northern latitudes, it generally tends to lead to a negative Arctic oscillation and also a negative North Atlantic oscillation, which supports colder temperatures across the mid-latitudes to the south of the higher than normal height anomalies. So I wouldn't be surprised if this lighter yellow on the next European weekly model output early next week does not change based on this height configuration. On the right-hand side, this is European Weekly 500 millibar height anomaly forecast on the right for the 8th of December, 2025. Above normal heights across the Bering Sea and the western portions of Alaska. We see above normal heights again associated with a negative NAO from southern Greenland across Baffin Bay into northeastern Canada. And then we see troughing beneath the upper level, higher than normal heights there with a negative NAO. We see troughing across the North Atlantic right on back to New England down to the mid-Atlantic coast for the 8th of December. Anywhere you don't see the blues or the yellows or oranges, that indicates near average upper level heights. We do see above normal heights also forecasted on 8 December across southern and central California towards Nevada, and below normal heights there just off the west coast of British Columbia. Looking at the European weeklies, this is the temperature anomaly forecast. Blues and greens below normal temperatures, oranges above normal temperatures. This is the temperature anomaly forecast from the European weeklies for Monday, the 17th of November, showing well above normal temperatures across the western U.S. on up towards central and western Canada, even far northern Canada. We see well above normal temperatures in Greenland, the Baffin Bay area, and that's in association with the upper level ridging there. We also see above normal temperatures across the Bering Sea, as well as portions of the north central Pacific. Below normal temperatures are forecasted on the 17th of November to be across the eastern U.S. down to Florida. On the right-hand side, this is our temperature anomaly forecast, European weekly forecast for 24 November. We now see that temperatures have cooled off on this forecast for portions of California, Oregon, Nevada, western portions of Canada. Temperatures still remain above normal across much of Alaska on the 24th of November, and then generally east of the Rockies, we see milder than normal temperatures. Specifically, the mildest temperatures will be from Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi to southern Arkansas by this point in time. Looking at the European weekly temperature anomaly forecast on the left for 1 December 2025, we still see below normal temperatures in the blues across British Columbia, parts of Alberta and Canada, all the way down through western portions of the U.S. We see slightly above normal temperatures there from eastern Texas along the Gulf Coast, North Florida, South Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, slightly above normal readings across portions of the Carolinas, near average temperatures for the Ohio Valley to New England for 1 December, and well above normal temperatures continue Baffin Bay across northern portions of Canada. On the right-hand side, we see the temperature anomaly forecast for 8 December. Well above normal temperatures can continue for Baffin Bay, right on into Hudson Bay, Canada, over towards northern portions of the Canadian area. We see cooler than normal temperatures in southern Alaska, warmer than normal temperatures on the north slope of Alaska, and then warmer than normal temperatures into the Bering Sea. Below normal temperatures continue across western Canada into parts of the Intermountain West on 8 December. Slightly above normal temperatures from Oklahoma City to Dallas down to Houston, as well as Brownsville, Texas. And then below normal readings have now invaded the Ohio Valley from New England all the way down to the mid-Atlantic coastline. Looking at the European weekly precipitation anomaly forecast on the left, the forecast for 17 November, green colors indicate above normal precip, brown colors below normal precip. So for the 17th of November, the only wet area really across the U.S. is going to be in northern and central California. We see a lot of brown colors here from Texas up to Missouri, Arkansas, Louisiana, the southeastern U.S., including Florida, up to the Carolinas and Virginia, drier than normal. On the right-hand side, precipitation anomaly forecast now for 24 November, showing wet conditions, above normal precip there, wetter than normal into California, Nevada, into parts of Arizona and Utah. Above normal precip also across parts of northwestern British Columbia. Above normal precip from Illinois, lower Michigan, northern Indiana, Ohio, into parts of western New York State. And then we look very dry on the 24th of November from Virginia right on down to Georgia along the Gulf Coast states. Here is the precip anomaly forecast of the European weeklies for 1 December, showing above normal precip continuing across California, Nevada, portions of Oregon into southern Idaho and Utah, as well as Arizona. We do see some above normal precip forecast by this model across northwestern portions of British Columbia. We see brown coloring generally from southern Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, as well as up towards Virginia and the Carolinas, drier than normal conditions in those locations, according to this model for 1 December, with above normal precip from northern Illinois, lower Michigan, northern Indiana, and Ohio. On the right-hand side is the precip anomaly forecast now for 8 December 2025, showing wetter than normal conditions across California, Oregon, Washington State, Nevada, Idaho, Utah, down to Arizona. So a wetter look in the western U.S., slightly above normal precip into southeast Montana, eastern Wyoming and the Dakotas, and slightly above normal precip Iowa, northern Illinois, lower Michigan, northern Indiana, and some pockets of above normal precip across New York State. Drier than normal conditions across eastern Virginia down through the Carolinas, Georgia, and Florida. Now let's turn our attention to the latest CFS. This is a monthly outlook again. CFS as of this morning, 7 November. These do get updated regularly throughout the course of the day. So I'm taking the latest model run from this morning. This is the forecast from CFS, the 500 millibar height anomalies, blues troughing, oranges ridging. So look at what we got here. This is for the month of December 2025. This is the December 500 millibar height anomaly forecast, the latest from CFS. Look at this orange color. Look at this ridging extending from California off the Northeast Pacific and the Gulf of Alaska all the way up into the Arctic area. This is a significant upper level ridging signature. And downstream from this very significant ridge, you're going to get troughing. You have a upper level low, generally positioned just north of Hudson Bay, Canada on this model forecast for December, with troughing and the blue colors extending into the upper Midwest. If we look at the area around Greenland, just the east of Greenland, we have below normal heights and troughing. The CFS January 500 millibar height anomaly forecast is now showing some troughing and some lower heights now into the Bering Sea and Alaska. We do have still remnants of some of the ridging left over there along the immediate west coast of Canada. We still see ridging from the southwestern U.S. up towards Oregon and Idaho. And we also see some troughing across the generally across the eastern North Pacific. Now, what really gets my attention is the orange colors here for the January forecast from CFS, showing above normal heights into Greenland and portions west of Greenland into Baffin Bay. And then we have a closed upper level low and troughing beneath this negative NAO signature, showing troughing extending down into the mid-Atlantic from Hudson Bay. This would indicate more of a colder type pattern for the upper Midwest, New England down to the mid-Atlantic for January if it were to verify. Now you notice we have below normal heights in the green coloring as well as the top right-hand portion of the graphic across the North Atlantic. And then we have the CFS February 500 millibar height anomaly forecast. Look at the ridging, the orange color here. The CFS for February is showing ridging, which is quite strong, all the way up into the Bering Sea. And then we have troughing across western portions of Canada. We have the polar vortex situated up just east, or rather west of Greenland. We have troughing across Greenland at this point. We lose that negative NAO signature. And then beneath all the troughing to the north, we get height rises or higher heights across the eastern portions of the United States, which would indicate a milder pattern for Gulf Coast to mid-Atlantic up to New England for February if this were to verify. If we look at the CFS December temperature anomaly outlook for December, The lighter browns, the oranges, indicate above normal temperatures, showing well above normal temperatures in the Arctic area north of Alaska. We see well above normal temperatures into Alaska as well for December. And then downstream from that, we see colder than normal temperatures in the greens and blues from the Dakotas, Minnesota, Iowa, down to Missouri and Illinois. We see the cooler temperatures extending all the way down to Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. And then we have orange colors across the southwestern portion of the United States, indicating above normal temperatures. We also see above normal temperatures forecasted by this model for New England, Vermont, New Hampshire, and Maine. Looking at the CFS January temperature anomaly forecast, showing above normal temperatures across the western United States. You notice up in Alaska, we have cooler than normal temperatures for southern Alaska, near average temperatures for central Alaska, but above normal temperatures in northern Alaska forecasted for January. The above normal temperatures associated with a negative AO continue to persist from Greenland just north of the North American area across the Arctic. And we see below normal temperatures forecasted for the Midwest, right on over to the Mid-Atlantic, southward into the Gulf Coast area, according to this model for January. We look at the CFS February temperature anomaly forecast. Well above normal temperatures now take hold from the east of the Rockies to the East Coast and New England, down to Florida. Well above normal temperatures in February. And then we see below normal temperatures to the north there from Alaska across northern Canada, right on over to Greenland. So this is not what you want to see if you want a colder February for the eastern U.S. or anywhere in the U.S. really. Look how mild the temperatures are with the orange shading from the west coast to the east coast. Here is the CFS December precipitation anomalies forecast. Brown is drier than normal. Green and blue is wetter than normal. So we have drier than normal conditions forecasted by CFS for December across the western U.S. We have wetter than normal conditions in Texas, up through southeastern Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, as well as the Dakotas and into Montana, as well as northern Wyoming, above normal precip forecasted. Drier than normal conditions generally across the Ohio Valley to the Gulf Coast, and drier than normal conditions up towards New England. If we look at the CFS January precip anomalies forecast, we see now a wetter situation above normal precip across California by January. We also see wetter than normal conditions across southern Idaho into southern Wyoming. Drier than normal conditions across the southern U.S., mid-Atlantic up to New England. And finally, the CFS February precip anomaly forecast showing above normal precip in the blue and greens across Northern California to Oregon, above normal precip also along the west coast of British Columbia, near average precip for much of Alaska. And we see above normal precip forecasted by CFS from eastern Nebraska, eastern Kansas, eastern Oklahoma, through Iowa, southern and central Minnesota, as well as Wisconsin, and above normal precip along the Ohio River Valley into the area around Kentucky, southern Indiana, and Ohio. Below normal precip forecasted for February into the Mid-Atlantic, including Virginia and the Carolinas. Looking at the NMME, this just came out today. This is a monthly outlook as well. We're going to look at December temperature anomaly forecast from the NMME model. And white colors indicate near average, blue below average, orange and yellows above average temperature. So for December 2025, the NMME is forecasting generally near average temperatures for southern, central Alaska, but then the western slopes of Alaska slightly above normal. We see above normal temperatures in the Hudson Bay, and then west of Greenland, they're north of North America over the Arctic. We see above normal temperatures centered over northern Mexico and southern Texas. We see slightly above normal temperatures for the Midwest to the Mid-Atlantic and up to New England. Near average temperatures across North Dakota, Montana, North Dakota, Montana, Washington State, and Oregon looking near average. This is the NMME January temperature anomaly forecast showing below normal temperatures in southern Alaska, right on to the northwestern portions of British Columbia. We see near average temperatures for Washington State, Montana, North and South Dakota. And we see above normal temperatures across the southwestern U.S., a little bit more of a stronger signature for warmer than normal temperatures into western Texas, including El Paso area, as well as southern Alabama, Mississippi, all of Georgia, into northern Florida. If we look at the NMME February temperature anomaly outlook, showing below normal temperatures into Alaska and western Canada, we see above normal temperatures into Hudson Bay, Canada, and we see generally average temperatures across Greenland, slightly above normal temperatures west of Greenland over the Arctic area there. And then we see above normal temperatures focused on eastern New Mexico, much of central and southern Texas, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, and then above normal temperatures extending up into the mid-Atlantic. Looking at the NMME December precipitation anomaly forecast, greens above normal, yellow below normal. Looking below normal in the precipitation just off the west coast of the United States. Above normal precip for Oregon, as well as Idaho into western Montana, western Wyoming, into parts of northeastern Utah and northwestern Colorado. We also have above normal precip forecast for the month of December from the NMME model across Wisconsin, Michigan, up into parts of southeastern Canada. Above normal temperatures from the mid-Atlantic south to Georgia, as well as along the Gulf Coast to Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona to Southern California. Looking at the NMME January precip anomaly forecast, drier than normal conditions for California, according to this model, well below normal dry there off the U.S. West Coast, indicating the storm track may be getting diverted up and over some sort of ridge feature if it's this dry over the eastern North Pacific. We do see above normal precip from Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, up towards lower Michigan. Slightly drier than normal from North Carolina southward into Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida. And then this is the NMME February precipitation anomaly forecast. Drier than normal conditions continue there off the U.S. West Coast. And again, this to me looks more like a ridge type signature when you see that. Slightly drier than normal into central and southern California as well for February. Above normal precip across the Pacific Northwest, western Montana, Idaho, western Wyoming, and above normal precip across Illinois, Indiana, Ohio, up to New York State, Vermont, New Hampshire, Massachusetts, and lower Michigan. We see the yellow colors drier than normal from Alabama, Georgia, the Carolinas, and Virginia down to Florida. All right, that wraps up my special video. This is the latest. I just wanted to put together a video showing kind of like what things are looking like overall amongst the various models. Now that we're in November, we're looking at the longer range models here for December, January, and February. Now, some of the main takeaways I see and some of the things between the models I see is this potential for a negative EPO, Eastern Pacific Oscillation, possibly a positive TNH. This definitely looks like a positive TNH type pattern with that troughing around Hudson Bay, according to the CANSIPS. And this ridging it gets stronger in January for the CANSIPS, and it remains out there. And then you see these temperature anomalies as a result downstream from the ridging over the northeastern Pacific up towards Alaska. Now, dry conditions are definitely forecast by the CANSIPS. Now, these are the weeklies, and we're also seeing with the weeklies as we get into December that signature of a negative EPO. We see the above normal height anomalies into Alaska, the Bering Sea, and north of Alaska. And those aren't going away. And then we see cooler temperatures begin to take over in parts of the eastern U.S. by the 8th of December. These are some of the main points I'm looking at. And this model is also pretty dry for the mid-Atlantic overall. Now, the CFS, if we look at the CFS model as a whole, we still see above normal height anomalies in Alaska and north of Alaska with this model as we head into December. And that ridge breaks down, according to the CFS model, by January. Get more troughing there in the Bering Sea. But we still have a pretty good indicator that maybe this polar vortex is a little bit weaker with troughing into the New England and Mid-Atlantic for January. And then things flip around and become more ridge-like across eastern U.S., according to the CFS, by February. So in this case, the CFS, you'd have a colder December and January, and then you would turn milder in February, which matches up very well with the 2001 winter season. And then here's your temp anomalies, and you can see how it gets much warmer by February. And then also this model is forecasting drier than normal conditions really in December, January, and February. So we have commonalities of drier than normal conditions across the mid-Atlantic amongst many of these models. Now the NMME, this has a different look. These are temperature anomalies. It looks milder across the eastern U.S. for December compared to the other models, but it's not super mild, right? Like these, we don't have a deep orange color like you have up in the Hudson Bay area down here in the eastern U.S. So, another commonality here, NMME is forecasting a drier than normal December for Virginia, near average in January, perhaps, and then drier again in February. So I just like to look at the trends of the modeling here. We're getting closer to wintertime, and I wanted to share it all with you. That's all I got for now, everybody. Until next time, take care and God bless everyone.